we're here at Don's Workshop. We're going to be building a model railroad. So all you little kids want to make one, just follow the plans and follow us, and you'll build your own beautiful railroad. Step one, I had an idea for a train table. I wanted it to do more than just go around in circles. So I came up with an idea where it had 3 loops. One stayed on the ground, one stayed elevated, and one went up and down. With that concept, I would draw some plans. It's important to get everything laid out right. Plan ahead, make sure that all the track fits. If it doesn't fit, the engines could eventually just fall off if there's a bad connection in the track. So it's important that everything fits together right. So you lay it out carefully, and then you'll go ahead and glue it all down, little by little. Lay it out with track, trace it. Under the track, you have to put a foam rubber. And I used wood glue for the foam rubber. I use a Titebond, the red Titebond, because it has a quicker setup time. And it seemed to work pretty good. Some people use tacks. I use glue. It seemed to do a good job. You lay it all out. All you can do is lay it out with the concept that you've got. Put some down, go on to the next step. And then the next step is to actually glue the track in place. Okay? So that's probably, I'll take everything off and glue the track down in this place. And then after that, I'll start to work on this to get it better. I've got a car here that I'm checking elevations with. And that's going to be inside the tunnel, so there's lots of clearance. So that can come down a little bit, and then the elevation won't have to go so high. If I lower it enough, it'll eliminate the climb that I have to get. So I have to work on the climb. It needs 8 feet to go 3.5 inches, and I don't have 8 feet. Okay, I have about 6 feet. So I can get it to about 2.5, 2 3/4 inches. They're all separate components, so that this can be lowered by cutting all of this off. And we have the last section of track we're going to put in. The track gets glued in. And okay, and I've already fitted it. So, we'll put some glue on the back. Make sure it's level. It's not level. Checking where the rails are touching to make sure that they're touching. Eventually we're going to have 3 transformers, 1 for each track. It's cheaper. Otherwise you can get a system, but it's that you have to add pieces to the locomotives, and it's much more expensive. If we have 3 tracks, we can isolate each one, so we can run one at a time or run all 3. But it'll work. Okay. So the track seems okay. What I did is I preliminary painted the areas that was going to be grass. I painted it a green. Areas which were going to be in tunnels, I painted it black. That was about the only painting I did. As I was building the track, I would take the buildings, which I had built earlier, and put them on the table, move them around to give me an idea of what I wanted to do before I came out with the final layout. So it went through many changes. Buildings got eliminated, some buildings got modified. But if you keep putting them on the table and moving them around, you get an idea of what you want to create. I wanted to create a small town with just a few items in it. It has a little rock museum, a rock climbing school. It's got a general store, a little day camp for kids. So it all involved around putting them on the table, looking at them. I would say at the end of the day, this is look time. I'd stand there and look at it for a while to give me some ideas of what I wanted to do, what I wanted to change, and how I wanted to change it. In the beginning, there's lots of little issues you're dealing with, so after we get the locomotive to run on the track, then we'll put some cars behind it. That I'm just gonna put these here and have a thing come up to here and go down and have this running in between there, and then same thing, just put a wall here and leave this open and this open, and cover this here, put a lake and put it there. That's what my thoughts are right now. Right now, we've gotten about half of it done. And the whole theme was going to be to concentrate on the elevated portion of the roadway. So I had to figure out what to do with the rest of the track. So over here, I made it go into a little tunnel. I made it come out over here. And I put a park on top. And we have a little pond in the park, and people can access it by walking up there. And over there, for elevated, we put a little train station with a walkway up and like a freight area. And for the park, we put some lights so it's lit up at night, and there's some people in it already. So, and then the rest of it is going to be something, I'm not sure what yet. And for the other elevated or a train tunnel, it goes in this track, will go in here, and it's going to come out over here. And what we're going to do is we did part of this here, so today we're going to do the rest, put the rest of the metal up, and then on top of it goes plaster. What you got to do first, if you use aluminum or metal, and you're going to staple it in place to where it's going to go. Sort of shape this a little bit. And then what I do is I put some glue down first and then do the plaster. It's just a modeling plaster. They make three types. They make a rock hard casting plaster, a lightweight hydrocal, and a carbon plaster. I'll use two of the three. I won't use the carbon plaster. I'll just use the harder rock material. It dries longer than the lightweight hydrocal, but it's a harder rock material. And it's easy to work with. It's got a longer setup time. The lightweight hydrocal, if you're working with that, it sets up quickly. I left it so that it ends here, but if you look over here, I filled it in with the plaster so that it brings it around, so that the train looks like it's just going behind the mountain. Let's make a small one. And it mixes sort of strangely. So we'll dump some here, dump some there. And it dries looking like that. And that's the base for all the other colors. This grass and stuff that I've been putting around, we're going to put some over here to finish this area here. So I'll show you how I do that. So what I do first is I put glue down. You can use glue like this, or they make a scenic cement, but for this stuff on the ground, I just like to use glue. I have this all different types of material you can buy. I have this, it's a rough turf. It's not smooth. Because if it's a lawn, they have a fine material, but for like here, I like this. So I just sprinkle this stuff on. Have some orange. Now, the lake, I heated it on the stove. It's little plastic beads. Okay, and I just heat it on the stove. I don't know if it's a good thing or not. It takes about 10 minutes, oh, about 8 minutes. Okay. Okay. Now, what I also do when it's wet, I'll put a little bit of grass or something in it, because all ponds have stuff floating around. And this will go in there. Now, we're gonna have to do about 3 more pours with this. So this is all the fun you can have, is designing it in an imaginary way, however you want to do it. Yeah. So it's your mind, like Bob Ross says. It's anything you think of, just do it, have fun. So build a model train setup and do it out of your imagination. It works that way. That's what it's all about. You're never too old. The older you get, the more expensive your toys get. When you want to make a really good layout, the final step is going to be detail. You got to have detail. You can put the buildings, you can put the track, you can put the mountains, but if there isn't realistic detail, it's not a finished product. So you're going to start to look at houses, and you're going to put fences, you're going to put trees, you're going to put shrubs, you're going to put people, you're going to put benches, you're going to put stone, you're going to put grass, you're going to put all types of stuff. And all this is what makes it become not just a model railroad, but sort of like almost a realistic village or a realistic town. It's important. Detail makes the finished product good. And now we can put a light in a building. The way I buy my lights, I buy them, the LEDs in strips. This is a little tester that I made. It's 9 volt, has a battery in it. Yeah, it lights. Okay, so we know this is good. Now, that's the end. We're going to solder the leads to. So, we'll get the soldering iron. Okay. Now, we're going to solder the connection point there. And it works. This is a house that I built. It's the City Hall. So the first thing we're going to do is do some window treatments on the inside, and that I just use some kind of cloth. Put it on both sides of the window, in the top, the bottom. Now, hopefully, this should fit. Now the window has something so you can't see in. Now we're going to put a light in. I use contact cement. We're down to the end here. We put some contact cement in the top where the light's going to go. And then we put contact cement on the light. Okay, we're gonna let that dry about 10 minutes. What I do is I buy single wire, either 1 color or 2 color, and I'll take it, I'll make a piece. And put one in the vise. And the other end in a drill. Twist the wire. Now we have 2-strand wire. Ends on one end, because everything under the table has got little ends on it. So we put ends, strip the wire. Put it in the tool. Put the wire in. Put the wire in and squeeze. Now it's got a lead that connects to terminals underneath the table. Okay. Just put it on the contact cement. And we drill a hole. It's ready to go. Electrical. My suggestion is lay out a design for electrical beforehand. I came up with an idea where I had separate points underneath the table where I connected, because I ran 3 voltages. I ran 3 volts, 9 volts, and 12 volts. Some of the stuff was 3 volts, some of the stuff was 9 volt, and some was 12 volts. I separated it. I later on decided I was going to put street lamps on all the streets, and they were 3 volts. So what I did is I separated everything so that just the street lights became 3 volts. And all the other stuff, which was originally 3 volts, I put on a separate switch so you can turn it off. So what we can do is have all the houses at 9 volts, all the street lamps at 3 volts, and there's a few miscellaneous items at 12 volts. We could turn off or turn on the houses, turn on or off the street lights. So we can create a scene where it goes from daylight to dusk to nighttime, where daylight there's no lights on, and then dusk your houses get lights on, and then later on the street lights come on, house lights go off, and the street lights stay on all night. So we're going to try to fit some rocks in. Yeah, a little square one that'll go there. Put a little glue on the rock. I had a painting or drawing or photo, and it just didn't look real. and I use real rocks every place else, and the real rocks are just outside, so it makes it look more realistic. And then what we do, let them dry a little bit, and I fill in with leftover. I put some glue. And then I fill it up with recycled. This is all stuff from that was used once and swept up. So just fill this in. And then take a brush and just sweep off the extra, and then let the rest dry. Okay, everything on the table I built myself because I wanted it to be my train layout. If you don't have the ability to build stuff, you can go to a train shop and they have kits that are relatively easy. And if you can afford it, they have completely finished buildings. But I could scratch build a building for $2 or $3, and that same building completely built would be $45. So it's a big difference. If you have the ability to build the stuff yourself, do it yourself, it can be yours. You can be out of your mind. You can create it and do whatever you want. Some of this that I made is part of my past. When I was a little kid, my grandfather had built a house up in a little village in New York State. It was called Camp Hemlock, and I put a little Camp Hemlock there. And it was really neat. I used to go there every summer. And we used to go swimming in a river and play and fish off a big rock. And there's the big rock that I used to do. And this structure here resembles the house that my grandfather had built that I would go to every summer. And the Camp Hemlock was between two towns, Burlingham and a town called Pine Bush. So we have a Pine Bush general store. And that's where I come up with the names. We started this in May, and we have everything photoed from May until where we're at. It was just a plain 4x6 table, and it after hundreds of hours, it's come to this. Everything is built, nothing is bought except for track. So it's a neat project. So I hope everybody enjoys the show. I've enjoyed making it. How you doing, everybody? I hope you all enjoyed the show. We enjoyed making it. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. I'd like to dedicate this show to my buddy Eddie.